All right, let's talk about Forex. You've probably seen the ads, the hype, the promises of getting rich quick. Well, today, we're going to cut right through all that noise. We're not talking about schemes. We're talking about a real professional path forward. So, let's dive in.
So, this is the big question, isn't it? This is the dream that pulls so many people into trading. You see the fancy cars, you hear the stories, and you think, hey, maybe that could be me. But you know what? The reality for most people starting out, it looks very, very different. Take a look at this number, 95%. Just let that sink in for a second. It's not just a random statistic. It's a huge flashing warning sign.
That's right. The vast, overwhelming majority of people who start trading lose. They blow up their accounts. So your first goal, your only goal when you start, isn't to get rich. It's just to survive. And that's exactly what we're going to show you how to do today.
Here's the game plan for how you are going to beat those odds. First, we'll face that 95% truth head-on. Then, we'll talk about building a solid foundation. After that, mastering your risk, which is huge. Then, conquering your own mind. And finally, we'll put it all together on your path to becoming a professional. All right, Section 1. This is all about the most important mindset shift you'll ever make. Before you even think about making a profit, you have to survive. The market is a marathon, not a sprint. Your only job at the beginning is to stay in the race long enough to actually learn how to run it.
And this, right here, is the absolute core of that shift. If you walk into the market thinking it's a casino, just hoping to get lucky on a trade, well, the house is always going to win. But if you treat it like a serious business, with a plan, with rules, with real discipline, that's when you give yourself a real fighting chance.
So how do you actually build this business? Well, it all starts with your foundation. And that foundation is education. I mean, think about it. You wouldn't try to fly a 747 without taking lessons, right? Trading is no different. You've got to learn the language before you can even begin to read the map. First up, let's learn some of that language. You're going to hear the word pip all the time. It's basically the smallest unit of measurement in Forex, kind of like an inch on a ruler. It's just how we measure our profits and our losses. It's simple, but absolutely fundamental. Next, you've got the spread. All this is the tiny difference between the buy price and the sell price. Think of it as the broker's fee for handling your trade. It's a cost of doing business, and it means every single trade you take starts out just a tiny bit negative. You have to know that. And then we have leverage. Okay, listen up, because this is the tool that destroys more new traders than anything else. It's basically borrowed money from your broker that lets you control a huge position with just a small deposit. It can amplify your wins for sure, but, and this is the part people forget, it amplifies your losses just as fast, if not faster. You have to treat this with extreme respect.
So you know the basic terms. How do you start reading the map? Well, my advice is to start with pure price action. Just learn to read the charts themselves, without a million confusing indicators. Learn to spot the trend and trade with it. And then, this is so important, pick one strategy. Not 10, one. And practice it over and over and over again on a demo account. Seriously, give it at least 3 months. If you can't make fake money, you have no business trying to make real money.
Okay, on to our second pillar. And honestly, this is what separates the pros from the 95% who fail. This is the one thing in the chaotic market that you have 100% control over, your risk. These aren't suggestions. These are the absolute, non-negotiable laws of survival.
This right here might be the single most important rule in all of trading. Never, ever risk more than 1 to 2% of your total account on any single trade. So, if you have a $10,000 account, that's a max risk of $200. This isn't about being scared, it's about being smart. It's about making sure you can live to trade another day, even after a string of losses. And this chart shows you exactly why that rule is so powerful. Just look at this. On the left, if you risk just 1% per trade, even after 20 losses in a row, which happens, you still have over 80% of your money left. You're still in the game. Now look at the right. Risking 10% per trade, after 20 losses, you're practically wiped out. The choice is pretty clear, isn't it? Now this is where it all gets really interesting. A lot of people think you need to win most of your trades to be profitable. Not true. Check out this table. If you aim for a reward that's at least double your risk, what we call a 1 to 2 risk-reward ratio, you can actually be profitable even if you only win 40% of the time. You can be wrong more often than you're right and still make money. That's a professional edge.
All right, we've covered the map, we've covered the shield, now we get to the final pillar. And I gotta be honest with you, this is the biggest mountain every single trader has to climb. It's about conquering your own mind.
You really need to let this sink in. The way the market moves up and down, it's perfectly engineered to trigger your deepest emotions. Your greed when a trade goes your way, your fear when it goes against you, your ego, your impatience. Your own psychology is the final battleground.
And this slide really lays it all out. Look at the amateur on the left. They're driven by emotion. They revenge trade after a loss, they hope a bad trade turns around, they jump into trades because of FOMO, the fear of missing out. Now, look at the professional on the right. They're calm. They accept that losses are part of the business, they have discipline, patience, and they just follow their plan.
So how do you defend against your own emotions? With this, a written trading plan. This is your business plan. It's your personal rule book that you create when you're calm and logical. It defines exactly what you trade, when you trade, your precise entry rules, and, most importantly, your exit rules for both a loss and a profit. You write the plan with a clear head, so you can just execute it when the market gets crazy.
Okay, so let's bring this all home. Becoming a professional trader isn't about finding some magical secret indicator or a can't-lose system. It's about building a framework by combining these 3 core pillars we've been talking about.
And here it is, the whole framework in one place. Number 1, your education is your map. It tells you where you are and where you're trying to go. Number 2, your risk management is your shield. It's what protects you from those fatal blows that knock you out of the game. And number 3, conquering your mind, that's your discipline. It's the skill that allows you to actually use the map and the shield correctly day after day.
And so, that really leaves us with one last question. A question you have to ask yourself. The path we've just laid out, it's not the easy path. It takes work, it takes patience, and it takes a serious commitment. So you have to decide, are you here to build a real, sustainable trading business for the long term, or are you just looking to buy a lottery ticket? The choice really is yours.